The following is a Joel Michalec production. The following episode of the Joel Michalec Show takes place between 8 p.m. and 9 p.m.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Joel Michalec Show, featuring the lovely Sharen. I'm Joel Michalec, and I am seated across the
lovely Sharen.
Yes, who is wearing one of my T-shirts.
I am, still.
Okay, so welcome, everybody. It is Mother's Day weekend, if you're listening to this podcast during the when it releases at the end of the weekend. Mm-hmm. So we want to wish all the mothers a very happy Mother's Day. And a very special happy Mother's Day to you, my love.
Oh, thank you.
So, there.
And quarantine day 9,329
More
million.
More accurately, though, I think it's 9,242.
Oh, okay.
But, so welcome to the program. We are available at www.jmtalk.net. Also on social media, Facebook at JM Talk, and Instagram and Twitter at JM Talk Radio. So that's how you get a hold of the show. Lots to sort of discuss today.
Yeah.
I want to start with the weather.
I know.
It is, so we're recording the show.
It is 98 degrees below zero outside.
We're recording the show on the 9th of May, FYI. And, last weekend, when I was walking Molly down at the park, there were people outside their homes sunning, gardening, doing all these great things.
Right.
Enjoying the weather. Today, we're in parkas and gloves.
It's crazy.
I don't understand it. May 9th. Yes, I'm going to repeat that. May 9th. And the wind chill was in the 20s overnight. And we're just barely above 40 right now, midday. This is insane. So, a couple of possible scenarios that cause this. Either Mother Nature has taken an extended vacation, okay, at this time of the year, and maybe a little senile appointed snow miser
I know.
in charge instead of heat miser, because this is May, and it is May 9th.
Right.
The other scenario is, I don't know if Mr. Freeze has escaped Arkham Asylum, maybe.
Oh my gosh.
But we should maybe hit the bat signal. I mean, I just don't understand what is going on. I'm trying every scenario I can, and I can't figure it out.
Nope, and you won't be able to.
I just know it's colder,
You know why?
It's colder than a witch's booty.
I have the answer.
What?
Because Mother Nature is a woman. And she has the prerogative to change her mind. And that's what she has done.
Well, somebody phone her up and tell her it's colder than a witch's booby. Outside. It's cold.
Oh my goodness.
But listen,
it's 46 degrees outside.
This is the perfect weather pattern for COVID-19, because this is the kind of, when it's 90 yesterday and 40 today, this is kind of weather that gives everyone symptoms, gives them colds, flus.
Yep.
And these are all also, according to the CDC, symptoms of COVID-19. So, if I were a staunch conspiracy theorist, this would be ripe with conspiracy. Ooh, let's control the weather, make them all sick with symptoms that are COVID-19.
And make everybody stay in the house.
I'm just saying, if I were a conspiracy theorist.
Okay, well, they're idiots, but anyway.
You know, it just...
I'm just saying.
It's weird. It
is weird. It is very weird.
And I'm quite frankly, I'm a little tired of it.
Yeah. Well, we all are. We all are very tired of it.
Yes.
I know, I am. I'm getting downright frustrated.
Even though we don't go out much, we're getting frustrated because 'tis the season.
Right, but...
'Tis the season to be at the shore.
Right. We don't go out much. But it's very typical. You tell me. I can't do something.
And you're like a child.
And I must do it. I must do it.
Right.
And when I don't have the freedom to go to any store I wish to go shopping, then I get frustrated, as is everybody else out there.
And that makes me frustrated because that's more bags and boxes I have to cut down from all the stuff you're getting shipped in.
I know. But if it gets shipped in, I'm just saying, we won't go shaking that apple tree.
So a couple things on the I'm mad list.
Okay.
I am very mad about drivers. You know, we have less people on the roads, and it seems like the people are driving more erratic. Mm-hmm. And I'm even talking about the sons of biscuits that live among us in this community.
Right. Oh, I know.
There have been several times this week alone, and it's very frustrating, where people are not paying attention to anything, including stop signs, and are just driving right out into intersections. And they just
don't care. They're the most important thing in
I see it out and about
world.
Too.
Yeah.
And again, I saw it this morning when I went to have some blood work done. Again, seeing people that just, you know,
they don't give a biscuit.
I don't know what it is.
I'm telling you, it's this COVID frustration. They get out, they have to wear a mask. It covers part of their eyes. They can't see where they're going.
All right, so you're going to blame it on the mask and they can't see where they're going?
I'm just saying.
Did you know, by the way, you mentioned masks. I'll get back to this driving thing in a second.
Okay.
Did you know that if there are more than one persons in your car, everyone has to be wearing masks inside the car?
Right.
Now, I heard one thing and I assumed something else. I heard that would even include, say, you and me. And it's like, wait, we're married. This is our car. We live in the same house together. So I'm a little suspicious about that. What I think that actually means is if you're running a carpool for work.
Oh.
You know, because it doesn't make sense. Why would a husband and wife, boyfriend and girlfriend, husband and husband, whatever the case might be, have to be in their car, both wearing masks? Because
I see
both in the same car.
More people in cars wearing masks than I don't.
Yeah, which is very weird to me because, I just don't know.
Well, yeah,
you're wearing a mask, you're in your car by yourself.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And then sometimes they are by themselves, sometimes they're with other people. Sometimes the other people don't have masks on.
Well, we can talk about levels of stupidity if you'd like. I'll donate some time to the show for that. But as far as the driving, I don't know. Like it's always been a problem. But when I see it now, I'm wondering. So we're talking about essential workers, people who are essential that should be out there driving like that. I don't know. It just seems very right. Like the other day when I was going to an appointment, and I told you this. On a pretty busy road, somebody just shot right out of a side road into traffic. No stop or anything. And I'm telling you, they almost got hit by 3 cars doing it. That's more blatant than the person that almost sideswiped Molly and me the other day right here in a complex.
I know.
You're just ignoring the stop sign, full speed out into traffic.
And other people need to watch out for you.
And
it's disgusting.
I'm very angry. I'm very angry this week about turn signals. I don't know why, but I'm very mad.
Well,
let me tell you something else I'm mad about.
Oh my goodness!
If I may.
Yeah.
If I may.
You got the mic.
So if I got the mic, you got the time. All right. So, I had to order medications this week.
Okay.
And diabetic medications from outside the country.
Okay.
Now, if I didn't have this discussion on a previous show before, then I certainly blogged about it on Facebook. But so because of my high deductible, which I can't afford to meet because I'm not, say, that sickly.
Right.
I have to pay extortion-style pricing for medications until I reach that high deductible. So if you can't pay extortion prices, if you don't make enough money to be extorted by the insurance companies, then I will never get to, in my state of health, I will never get to that high deductible. So I have to seek cheap alternatives that I can find, which is going outside the country. And one of them will take possibly up to 6 weeks because of COVID-19.
Right.
Because it's coming from India.
That's just disgusting.
Can you imagine we live in this type of society?
I know. It's disgusting.
Where I'm getting my insulin from Canada at a seventh of the price.
Right.
A seventh of the price. That is ridiculous that we have to pay those kinds of prices in this day and age for what is it called? Commercial insurance, because I got it through my employer.
Exactly.
And they do that, and as they say they do that, the high deductible plans, so you pay a lower premium. And so, the trade-off is somewhere. But here's my argument. I will get Humalog brand product at a seventh of the price from Canada. And I will get a pill for my diabetes from India. I didn't do I wasn't ready for the math in my head on this. Okay, so I can't do the math. But so here it is. If I pay it on my current plan, it would be $4.92 a month until I meet that deductible, which I can't meet. So you see what I mean? It's not when you have no money to bite that bullet.
Right, and they give you a deductible that's unmeetable.
So $4.92 for 30 days, and I'm going to get it for $129 for 3 months, 90 days.
Wow.
So whatever that fraction is,
that's crazy.
Right, that's crazy. $10 more a month out of India than it cost me for my normal copay after I can meet the deductible of $30.
Right.
It would cost me $30 for these pills a month.
Right.
Or,
after you meet your deductible.
Yeah, so roughly, if you think about it, that's about $10 more.
But to meet your deductible, you've got to pay $10,000.
Yeah.
For tests and whatnot.
So you say, and that's typically that's what some colleagues of mine that, let's say they're kind of liberal, would say. They would say, well, you just have to bite that bullet to get to that point. Well, biting that bullet is the difference between putting food on the table or getting that, biting that bullet, paying rent or biting that bullet. You know what I mean?
Right.
They're the kind of bullets that you're contemplating eating.
Yeah, exactly. So my question is this. The $4.95 per month for your prescriptions, that goes towards your deductible.
That is correct.
So you're then still meeting your deductible through paying for your prescriptions.
Here. Not
right.
When you go outside the country, it has no effect on your insurance.
Right. And you're getting the same exact drug from other countries that you're getting here.
Right. So that's why that's why I submit to you, don't give me this BS. I don't want to hear any BS as to why the prices have to be that high.
Right, exactly.
And I know a lot of states have already passed it. I think it's great, and we're still waiting for Delaware to pass the $100 cap on insulin, which would mean that you cannot charge, insurance or not, more than $100 a month.
Right.
So I think that's great for people who don't have insurance, but I still think I keep going back to that other thing. That other thing that says, how is it I can buy a box of pens for $90 in Canada?
Right.
But until I meet my deductible, when it will be $30 a box, why is it $760 something, I think, for that box of pens until I meet my deductible?
Wow, that's
one more sample.
Shaking my head, I tell you.
Here's one more sample of the extortion of medical insurance. So I was pricing a bunch of stuff that I needed through my insurance because I can price medications, which is based on where I'm at with my deductible.
Yep.
So my test strips are free. Thank goodness for that.
As they should be.
So, but when I priced it, it said no cost to me, and then underneath it tells you how much you saved because you have our glorious insurance.
Right.
For a 90-day supply, saved me $414. Now, stand by. You already have a look. I'm going to change that look to even worse. Why is it I can buy a box of those strips with no insurance for $44 a box?
Yeah.
Times 3 is $132.
Right.
How are you saving me $414? Why
Because
is it so much?
Seeing that on paper makes everyone feel good.
I don't feel
about saving. Wow, look, this is awesome. I just saved $444.
All this insurance stuff.
That's ridiculous.
It's just terrible. And it all came at the same point where I found out there's another thing. There's another extortion thing. Here's another COVID extortion thing. So you can call some of your creditors, a lot of your creditors, and they will hold off your payments. Yeah, the alarm system. They will hold off payments for you because maybe you were affected. We were affected. I was affected. My pay was affected because of COVID-19 for a period of time. And so that qualified me to have a, what is the word they use? A temporary forbearance.
Forbearance, right.
You don't have to pay for your school loans for a couple months. Great. Thank you. This is great. Thank you for looking out for us.
Right.
In the same token, I lost 50 points so far off my credit for not making the first month's payment under the forbearance plan.
So
when we come out of this...
I'm going to say it's going to come out. It's coming out. The F word is coming out.
Just once. Don't let it come out.
Oh, my Lord.
Yeah, so I had just gotten that text, that report, before I started dealing with all the medication stuff yesterday. Yeah, 50 points for entering into a thank you for helping me plan since I don't have the money to pay since COVID-19 affected my pay.
Right.
I was not aware.
We're here, and that's false advertising. It really is.
Unless it was in fine print and I didn't see it, or they just don't disclose it. You know what I mean? Like they don't disclose that they're going to make a negative remark to your credit report because the credit company doesn't raise your credit because it said that my payment increased by this much. So in other words, unless there's going to be an adjustment later, there's been no adjustment, but there's a remark about the forbearance. And according to Credit Karma, it's the remark that affected my credit. So someone put that remark in there. And I just think that's a bunch of hooey. And I actually, I still may call them and confront them about that.
I think you should.
So, I mean,
absolutely.
Just a lot. I told you there was a lot to go over. I'm just
know.
mad a lot this week.
Yeah, you are.
But
we should. You know what we should do?
What?
We should take your anger and turn it into something funny.
Oh.
Instead of
yeah, but I'm not
making everybody else mad.
You don't see that because I take all my temper out on Ark.
Well, hey, and I do appreciate that. He does too. He does take his anger out.
It mellows out when I get onto the game. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
It's not like I come home and I shoot it at you.
No, I know that. That's not what I'm saying.
So
I'm not saying that at all.
All right. Well, we got some COVID-19 related news stuff about people going nuts coming up after the break. Plus, later on, we'll honor a new hero. We will talk about a new Wombat of the week. And if time permits, well, of course, I will do one last thing. All coming up in the third stretch of the show. But right now, I'm going to take a quick 90-second or so break, and we'll be back with more of the Joel Michalec Show featuring the lovely Sharen after this.
This is New York's super oldie station, 920 WON, The Apple, Brooklyn, New York.
The following conversation is real. It took place on Tuesday, June 8th of 2004 between a Blonde Star advisor and a subscriber.
Blonde Star emergency, this is Steve. Is there an emergency in your vehicle.
Oh my God. I've locked myself in my car and the keys are on the outside.
Ma'am,
oh my God.
Ma'am, I need you to calm down.
Okay, it's just that the windows are rolled up and I'm starting to sweat. My keys are on the outside.
Now, your keys are on the outside of the vehicle?
Yes, oh my God.
Now, does your car have automatic locks or...
Yes.
Okay, here's what I need you to do. Take hold of the inside of your door handle there. Are you doing this? The shiny thing. Grab the shiny thing.
Okay, I've got it.
Okay, now give that a tug.
Okay.
Did it open?
Yes, oh my God, thank you.
Okay, now what is that noise?
Oh, that's my door alarm.
Yeah, but that only happens if the keys are in the ignition, hon.
Oh my God. You know what?
Your keys are actually in your ignition.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh my God, thank you so much, Blonde Star.
That's why we're here. Do you need anything else?
Blonde Star.
No, that's
Always
it.
on, because you're always blonde.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Joel Michalec Show featuring the lovely Sharen. We thank you for sticking with us on the podcast. Got a couple things to go over during this segment of the show. One or two items at least being COVID-19 related craziness out of the news. But first, I've been doing that to you for like all week. I'm going around the house, folks, and I'm doing like announcer type stuff. You know,
Yeah.
like when Sharen comes up to give me a kiss goodnight, I'll say something like this: "Kiss brought to you by bedtime." Yeah, so silly stuff like this. So, but first, I have been teasing people on Facebook that I have some information about these murder hornets. You know what I'm talking about, right?
I do.
Okay, because we didn't get a
do.
chance to talk about this on the last show, I don't think. Did we?
No.
Did we talk about murder hornets at all?
I don't think we did, no.
I don't think we did either.
No.
Over the last 2 weeks, there's been this sudden, out of nowhere, and a complete mainstream media rash
Yeah, you
of
and I have
news,
discussed this,
yeah,
but we haven't discussed it here.
about these murder hornets. They're these giant hornets, these giant bees from Asia.
Right.
And, of course, the mainstream media is attaching this story of these hornets basically to 2020. And what, like, 2020 is it's like end times. No, seriously, pretty much depending.
Right.
If you watch the news, it is the end times going on as far as everything, you know? And Trump's the Antichrist. So everything's built up, and now we have these murder hornets. So the media dubbed these giant Asian bees as murder hornets because one of the things that they do is they attack. Is it honeybee hives? I think it's honeybee hives. They'll attack it, and a small swarm of these giant hornets can take out an entire hive. And what they do is they basically decapitate the bees by chewing their heads off or something.
Ew.
Yeah, now not the grocery.
Too late. I'm all right.
Not to gross you out, but I saw a very interesting video yesterday on Reddit of a giant Asian hornet being trapped in a small glass cage with your, I'll just say, your least of all favorite bug ever.
Yes.
And that bee didn't stand a chance. Did not stand a chance.
Really?
I'll leave it at that. But if I find that video again,
No.
maybe I'll post it.
No.
No? Okay.
Well, no, don't post it anywhere where I'll see it. Because...
Okay. Go to Reddit, everybody, and look up Asian bee versus praying mantis. But, so anyway, okay, so all this hype. Oh, my God. Giant murder hornets, you know. And yes, if you get stung, I think 3 or more times in a row, it could cause death to a human because of how intense the stinger is. And then also, what's been coming out is this video of this guy. I forget his name. He's sort of like Steve Irwin. He goes around the world, all around the world, and on camera, he gets insects or whatever that has stingers or biters and venom and allows himself to be stung or bit or whatever. And then
is he a moron?
And then you watched the whole experience. So all of a sudden last week, this video of him doing it with the giant Asian bee. And it really, one sting to the arm, it really did mess him up. Okay. Do a little research because you know me. I do a little research, and the video is like a year and a half or more old.
Okay.
That's for one thing, but no big deal because this is his show. And it wasn't here. He was over in somewhere in Asia or whatever.
Okay.
Filming it. So that's how he got his hands on one. Now, here's the big reveal that I was teasing about on Facebook. I said that I had some valuable information about these murder hornets that I wanted to reveal on this week's podcast.
Okay.
So, and I can
reveal away.
I consider this a reliable source. The Pennsylvania State Beekeepers Association has released a statement last week. And I think it's important for everybody to know. It goes like this. A word about, quote unquote, murder hornets. First of all, they're actually called giant Asian hornets. And they are not in Pennsylvania. They have found 2. And the reason I'm saying like that is I'm emphasizing they're all caps.
I know.
They have found 2 single individual hornets in Washington State back in 2019. And a nest that was found was destroyed in British Columbia in 2018. Is there concern? Yes, there should be with any invasive species. German yellow jackets are very common in the area now. No scare tactics seen with them. But nothing that anyone should worry about at this time. It is a bunch of hype using the word murder and saying it kills 50 people per year. Last year, 50 people were killed. Less in previous years, 41 in 2013, for example. They won't call it by its proper name for various reasons. So sensationalism and scare tactics are used to gain attention and clicks on social media links that this Asian hornet is now being inappropriately called a murder hornet. Yes, we are aware of the damage they can cause to honeybee colonies, but there are ways to minimize the impact, and they are easily controlled around our honeybees. This is all fear-mongering. They can be a threat, but nothing more than what honeybees are already experiencing. It's another variable we have to watch and watch out for good. We can utilize various measures to protect our bees should they arrive here in Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania has been closely monitoring these invasive species for several years, so we're being very proactive and staying ahead of this insect. So what I found interesting about that statement from the Beekeepers Association is that Washington State is where the news... and at first, let me tell you something.
Originated,
right, but when this news came out 2 weeks ago, Sharen, when it came out in a swarm, no pun intended...
or pun intended.
It didn't say where. It just said in the United States. And then as... news had to start expanding on that a little bit. Now it was Washington. So there's your Washington connection. But we're talking over a year ago. Two bees, and they think that they got here by way of a cruise ship.
Wow.
Okay, so they're gone. They have been taken care of. The only known
has
nest...
been taken care of. They were killed.
Probably. Or
murdered. The murdering bees were murdered.
And the only known nest out in that area has also been... destroyed.
Right.
So, besides being a classic case of fear, like they said, fear-mongering, sensationalism by the news, sell those links, bait and click, all that stuff.
Sure.
I just wanted to get that word out there because I think it's important for our listeners and for everybody. So pass this information on, please, that at this time, there would be no reason for anybody to worry about them. And if you did some research yourself, you would find this information like we did.
Exactly.
You would find that this sensational video is 2 years old. You would find that it wasn't even filmed here. Yeah. You would find that we are not being swarmed by them. You want to know about an invasive species in this area? Pennsylvania is really having a hard time with the spotted lanternfly. Because why? It eats trees.
Wow.
Okay? And now, it doesn't bite people, but imagine this. Imagine going out to get in your car one night,
and you're in a forest.
Not in the forest.
Oh.
You just go out to get in your car, and you go out there, and your car is covered with thousands of these things.
Oh, wow.
Okay, that's some of the, in certain areas of Pennsylvania, that's what they're dealing with, is the spotted lanternfly.
Oh.
And the problem there is it eats trees.
How do you get rid of them?
I don't know, but remember we had counties here in Delaware, or no, zip codes in Delaware that had to do this checklist before you get in your car to make sure you weren't transporting any on your car over into another zip code.
Oh, wow.
I mean, crazy.
That is crazy.
So socialistic. It's like,
Wow.
So, I wanted to bring this out. Now you know.
Yeah, hey.
So, I'll
Now
share
I'm
the information
all that
from the
much
Beekeepers
smarter.
Association. And it's interesting. I do have a colleague at work who I probably could have asked this. So if I wanted further information, even for myself,
Right.
I may still do that. It's very hard to get conversation with him, but
Sure.
he is a beekeeper in Pennsylvania.
Oh, wow, yeah.
So he would have better knowledge on this, like I would on your motherboard.
Exactly.
So, all right.
Well, hey.
Comments in the gallery?
The gallery says nothing. I don't much like bees, so I'm going to leave that.
I don't like
be.
bees either.
I am going to leave that be.
And when I was believing the hype, you know what the first thing I thought of was?
What?
I had just read that the honeybees, and I don't know if it's because of for the same reason we're seeing a lot of other wildlife coming back, if it's because people aren't out and about as much,
Yeah.
or what the reason was, but I had read that the honeybee, which was supposedly become very close to extinction, has actually started turning around. And I don't know if it's because of people like beekeepers and how they're forming associations and groups and support groups, but for whatever reason, the honeybee is coming back a little bit. And the honeybee is very important for everybody, okay, because it pollinates
trees and flowers
and plants and things that we need. So besides just producing honey, they're also doing things to the plants to make sure the plants thrive. It's part of the ecosystem.
Right.
So they're making a comeback. So the first thing I worried about was the honeybees.
Right.
And their struggle to stay with us.
Oh, my God.
Okay. Wipe your eyes. So.
I'm back.
So COVID-19 is driving people. I don't know. COVID-19 is driving people crazy.
Well, yeah, we discussed that last segment.
Yeah, so we're going to discuss it again.
Okay.
So, 2 men in Flint, Michigan are under arrest right now. Actually, finally caught not too long ago. They were on the run. Because last Friday, a simple request to wear a mask in order to protect others resulted in the brutal murder of a security guard.
What?
Yes, so a dollar store security guard had advised, I think it was a woman who was trying to come into the store, didn't have a mask, wear a mask. I guess she became argumentative or whatever, and then I guess her husband and I don't know who the other guy was, got in his face, whatever. The lady apparently left, got in the car and drove away, came back like 20 minutes later, apparently instead of a mask, with a gun, because then the one man, the 2 men went back in and started with the security guard again and then shot him dead.
Oh, my gosh.
Over a mask.
That is crazy.
It is crazy. That's what I'm saying. This,
Oh, my God. Some people just...
It's a dollar store.
Right?
It's a dollar store.
But not only that.
And you're ordered to wear a mask.
Yeah, by law. By law, you have to wear a mask.
This is the craziness that I told you we would get into. Yes, we said this was crazy earlier, but...
I see reports of a lot of protests going on about, yes, wearing masks, yes, reopening the states, and, as frustrated as I am, as much as I want to go and be able to have the freedom that I had before all this mess of going wherever it is I want to go, I still wouldn't protest the having to wear a mask or having to be able to go shopping and reopen the state. I'm not that stupid.
Right.
You know what I mean? As frustrated as I am, I understand. You know what I mean?
Right.
I do. And it just boggles my mind how come people have to protest on why the government's doing what they're doing to keep us safe.
Right.
And that's it. That's all they're doing. They're doing what they're doing to keep us safe.
Right.
You
now,
know,
this...
the us being the ones that don't have COVID.
Right. And now this guy just doing his job.
Yeah.
Enforcing the rules that are set by the CDC and local and state governments.
And their store.
And loses his life because somebody else didn't want to. Like, that was my main thing. What do you mean you left for 20 minutes and came back with a gun?
Yeah, right.
You couldn't leave for 20 minutes and come back with a mask?
Right? Oh, my God.
You see, I almost said it, right?
I know. I know, right? See, it gets us to the point where we have to curse and we have to throw F-bombs around.
Yeah.
Because it makes us mad.
So I'm glad that they were arrested, and I hope that they get the fullest extent of the law, which,
me too.
This is where I know there's always a big debate, but this is, if you take someone's life, and I know you believe in eye for an eye,
I absolutely do.
This is where I don't think there's any debate with the death penalty.
Absolutely not.
These two should not take on tax dollar money to feed, clothe, and house them for life.
This is murder one. Murder one at its finest.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Totally premeditated.
You left, and
like she left, so they must
later,
have gone out in the parking lot and waited for her.
Right.
Before they went back in to start up with him again.
20 minutes later, she comes back with a gun, fully aware of what she was doing.
Yeah, I believe she was arrested right away. There's the two men that were on the run, but now they have all three.
Yeah.
Now they have all three.
Murder one.
So,
capital punishment.
This is crazy. I mean, just yesterday in our area, we had a big lockdown in the area because somebody shot two people at a veteran cemetery. We still don't even know why.
Two people, a man and a woman, were shot, and they were visiting someone at a veterans cemetery.
Yeah. So the shooter's dead, which,
Are you sure?
Yeah. And what I don't know if it was self-inflicted or, because they found his body sometime after the final time he was in the woods and he was exchanging shots with the police.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, hopefully it wasn't self-inflicted. Hopefully, justice got him.
Yeah.
Because I just hate's a strong word. I dislike when these people that do this kill themselves. I sort of, I sort of in my head, I cheer and praise when the police actually do it.
Right.
And I'm not saying I'm all for that.
If it's suicide by police.
Right.
I hate that.
I'm not saying I wish that on anybody.
No.
But again, in this situation, one of the two people were pronounced dead.
Yeah.
So when you take a life, I'm sorry. I just don't feel like you deserve to continue on with your life, incarcerated or not.
Exactly.
That's just my view on that. And you may have a different view. And guess what? As I always remind people when I do give a very strong opinion of mine, this is America and we do have the right to have our own opinion. You are allowed to have an opinion different than mine and we can still be friends or at least live in the same area or whatever. You don't have to. Like, too many people get mad because I don't like your opinion, so you're a dick and I don't want anything to do with you.
Right, exactly.
And it doesn't have to be like that.
Everyone is entitled to their own opinion.
Right. It doesn't have to be like that. So that's my opinion.
Right.
And we're going to end that on the segment on my opinion. It's
go.
my opinion that we end this segment.
No.
And it is of my humble opinion that Sharen should say goodbye, Sharen, because she's leaving.
Goodbye, Sharen.
All right, there you go. Folks, I'll be back with the third stretch of the show. Coming up just after this. Don't go anywhere. More to come.
This message is for all of you sitting in the passenger seat. And apologies if it gets a little uncomfortable. But how does it feel to be at the mercy of someone who thinks a random text is more important than your life? Someone who takes their eyes off the road while speeding along in a 3-ton hunk of steel. Freaky, right? Well, why not just ask them to stop? Or better yet, volunteer to text for them. It might be a little awkward, but believe me, you'll live.
Learn more at stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
Broadcasting from a crummy little studio in Baltimore, Maryland. This is Reality One Radio.
You see why we need your donations?
Welcome back to the program, everybody. This is the Joel Michalec Show featuring the lovely Sharen. And the lovely Sharen has exited and is developing more masks that she has been distributing during this COVID-19. Found a way to keep herself busy during the sit-in, as it were. So that's what she's often doing. And you and I are here to cover the final stretch of the show. And inside this segment, we're going to do a new Wombat of the Week. We're going to honor some new heroes. We're going to, if time permits, we're going to go over one last thing. That's hashtag one last thing. If you're following along on social media, and if you're new to the show, I will always tell you how to reach out and submit stories for these segments. So not to worry, I have you covered. The first thing we're going to do is the Wombat of the Week, which is where we find stupid people doing stupid things, and we honor them here on the program.
Or disgrace them.
Which what?
Or disgrace them.
Or, as it were, disgrace them. And this week is no different. We have a new Wombat of the Week. How do you get involved? Very easy. You can send us an email to joelmahalecradio@gmail.com. You can also send the story to us on Facebook at JM Talk as a DM, PM, IM. I don't know what they call it anymore. So just send us the link to a story of stupid people doing stupid things. And that's all you have to do. And rest assured, it gets on the show. This week, no different. Another Wombat apparently back on April 21st. Some yo-yo 19-year-old, I guess, decided to, as a joke, do a joke saying, let's do a pee your pants challenge on TikTok. And so basically on TikTok, he peed his pants. And then that post and that hashtag got 1.9 million views. And now people are out there on TikTok filming themselves in a mirror, peeing in their pants. I'm going to take my glasses off for this one, folks, because what is going on in this world that I don't understand these challenges. I mean, this really goes back to the whole, whenever these challenges started, let's eat a Tide Pod. Let's get out of our moving car while it's still moving and dance on camera. Let's pour hot boiling water down our throats. Let's, here's another new one, folks, if you haven't heard. The Nutmeg Challenge, where it challenges you to eat a large volume of the potentially deadly spice. You can't just eat nutmeg in volumes. It could kill you. But, I don't understand why they make these challenges that could potentially harm you. Why not make a challenge like, hey, you know what? I got a challenge for you. Clean up the park challenge. How about that? How about clean up the park challenge? How about have some manners challenge? How about drive like you know how to drive challenge? That's some challenges I'd like to see. And in fact, we should do that. We should, while one of us drives, the other one, for safety, should film that person driving using the turn signals, braking properly, stopping at stop signs, not running through intersections. We could do that. And maybe we can get 1.9 million views of hashtag driving properly. Not a bad idea. But these challenges are really getting out of control. I know people are bored. I get this. I know you're bored. But pissing in your pants, is... I don't have any other word for it. Have we gone insane? I don't have any way to describe this. I don't even know why I brought this up. This is stupidity. It's worse than a Wombat of the Week. And I'm looking at like photo stills of some of the people. You all look like flippin' idiots. This guy here, 80s nerd haircut. It's just ridiculous. So the videos of the challenge on TikTok demonstrate people actually urinating themselves after they say in the mirror, pee your pants challenge. And then, of course, step 2 is to pee your pants. I don't even get this. These social media challenges, are crazy. I think if you do the pee your pants challenge, I think you ought to follow it up with a Tide Pod. And chase it down with boiling hot water. That way the pod opens up and it gets in there and cleans your insides real out. Maybe it'll go up and clean your brain too. So, so everybody who's not only doing this pee your pants challenge, but if you do the pee your pants challenge, eat a Tide Pod, drink boiling water, get out of your car while it's moving, any of that dumb stuff, then I encourage you to please get help. Because the only way I can help you this week is you are the winner and crown holder of Wombat of the Week. And I'm sorry I found this information. And I will not watch the videos. I find that TikTok is sort of silly. I mean, I know people that use it. I don't know what all the rage is. And I don't know. Maybe we'll have a Tide Pod later on for dessert. We'll film it.
All right.
Please deposit your Tide Pods into the washer machine. Remember I was going to do a video about that, the real Tide Pod challenge, do some laundry. Filthy animals.
Apparently they'll need to when they pee their pants.
Yeah, right. I mean, who's doing the laundry? What do your mothers think of when they have to grab that laundry? Because none of y'all in these videos look like you're doing your own laundry. You look like a bunch of pigs. You probably all live in your mama's basements, too. There, I said it. So there is your Wombats of the Week. Nobody in particular. Just basically everyone that's peed in their pants on TikTok. You're a fool. You're a fool. Filming yourself doing stupid, idiotic things is worse than just having a news story about doing stupid things. You've done the bifecta. You've done stupid things and got your link and you filmed yourself doing it. Back in our day, you couldn't film this stuff. So if we did stupid stuff back in our day, guess what? It's never showing up. Your stupid stuff, your stupidity will go down in history. In history. So we move on now to our segment of honoring heroes. And you can also get involved in this because you can send to the same address, joelmichalecradio@gmail.com. You can send us stories of everyday people, any day and everyday people going above and beyond, doing extraordinary things. So it doesn't have to be police officers or nurses, although, all these first responders, these people on the front line of this, very much, we've honored them before on the show, and we continue to honor them for being on the front line doing those things. But you can get us those stories too, because a lot of times there's local stories, there's local heroes out there that we'll never hear about because they're in local newspapers. So a couple of things on heroes tonight. We have a couple crowns, and one of them is actually a local. I just want to do a local mention to a Justin Jew, a junior at the Charter School of Wilmington here in Delaware, who has been hard at work coordinating the 3D printing club at the charter school. He's coordinating the club's efforts to print protective face shields for frontline workers and nurses. So a big shout out to Justin and the club there, the 3D printing club at the Charter School of Wilmington, for taking that on. The pictures look amazing, and I'm sure that everybody thanks you for them. You know, just these little things that people do, these little things that people do that make a really big difference during this time. So just want to do a special mention, honor thy heroes out to him and the rest of the club there. And also another thing, and this hero just sort of like no story, no nothing, just something that popped up into my head. I had visited Burger King today, and you know, that little giggle off to the side by the lovely Sharen making masks is because there's a different story about the Burger King that will probably show up on either my Facebook or the show's Facebook very soon with a picture. So that was an as usual horrible experience, but that's not the case right now. While I was there waiting for my food, there was another guy there, and he was a DoorDash driver. Okay. And he was there picking up an order for DoorDash. And, you know, I know that a lot of places that don't typically do delivery are doing delivery now, and not just because of COVID. Even beforehand, this DoorDash, this Uber Eats, you know, these type of things started popping up for restaurants that don't usually do delivery. Now you can get delivery from them because you have these independent contractors that will deliver for you. You know what I mean? Right. And DoorDash is one of them. And but because of the pandemic right now, I wanted to give a special kind of honor thy hero shout out to these people at DoorDash or Uber Eats that are out there doing that. Plus all the other people that do delivery, but because they're out there, they're dealing with the people in the restaurants, the restaurant workers, they're dealing with the customers, and they're really they're bridging that gap. Whereas, I don't know, like you may get a hankering for, I don't even know, I'm trying to think, something from the diner. God forbid, right. You want something from the diner. Right. Not my favorite place, but But what I'm saying is something like that. You want something that you usually can't get unless you go there. Right. But you can get it now during the pandemic because they're closed, but they're doing DoorDash. Right. So those kinds of things. And so the Uber Eats and the DoorDash, these people, just like any other delivery people in any delivery field, you know, let's take our hats off to all these people this week. Right. Yeah, because they're out there delivering the food that you otherwise may not be able to get.
Unless you go visit their store.
Right. And the interesting thing is, the only right thing I've seen done at Burger King today is when she folded the bag for the DoorDash, then they have a special big sticker that when they fold the bag, then they stick it shut. Yeah. Which I think is good because at least you know the restaurant sealed the bag. Right. You know, that's my concern with any delivery service. I know. Which is why when we order from the restaurant down the street, I have no problem going and picking it up. Because you don't know who's delivering your food, especially way back last year, a little more than a year ago, when we did the story about the guy dunking his donuts into someone's salsa during delivery. Yeah. And I don't mean donuts like, you know. I know, we get it. He was salsa dunking. Yeah. But anyway, so big shout out to all those people that are doing the deliveries and the thing like that. We really appreciate that you're doing that. And I told this guy that. Just, you know, special mention. I did say something to him I thought it was great what he was doing, and thank you very much. You know, I wish I had a card. I would have given it to him, but you took all the cards.
I did not.
Yes, you did. You took all the show cards. No. Prove it. So anyway.
They're in my pocketbook.
So they're in your pocketbook. Okay. So that's the Honor Thy Hero segment. Remember, get your stories in. We can always use them, especially the hero ones. Now, I'm going to drink some tea because my voice is really wearing out. So. One last thing. We do have a little bit of time for one last thing. I was given this story to read earlier in the week. And the funny thing is, it was by somewhat of a mainstream media thing. Now, the headline read something like, the COVID-19 is mutated, and this strain will be worse than the original strain. And very fear-mongering. And I did read the entire story, and I read it 3 times, and let me tell you why. And I'm telling you this because this same story is now a YouTube video with some analysis, I'm sure from a reliable source. Please don't get your news from YouTube, first of all. But anyway, so I read the story multiple times because I realized that when I was reading the story several times over to ensure that I understood what I think I was understanding, they were basically talking about the strain that we're dealing with right now compared to the strain that it was at the very beginning as it started making its way out of China, okay, and around Europe. So when I went back and read the story several times, I'm like, yes, I'm not crazy. What they're saying is that this new mutated strain that's deadlier than the original strain is the strain that we are dealing with here now. So this news story that was put out just about a week and a half ago, as if it were new, is just rehashing and decorating with some, as I said earlier, sensationalism to what? Scare you into thinking that there's something worse coming? Yeah, that's what like we talked about this in the second segment. It's almost like the mainstream media wants you to believe that 2020 is the end of the world. So I found the story to be turn out to be sensationalism, and I'm bringing this to you now because I want you to know. And then now what happens is some of these news stories are taken, and then people put them into YouTube videos with their own commentary, and there are people out there who apparently have too much time on their hands because they're very good at spinning sensationalism on top of sensationalism. And that's why I stress to you, you don't want to get your news from YouTube. You don't want to get your news from Facebook either. I'm really cautious with Facebook anymore, especially since I posted a story from USA Today and Facebook flagged me for spewing false information. So if USA Today is considered false information, then, not that we already knew we had a problem, but we've got a problem in River City, folks. So I'm very cautious with anything now because even I tried to present a story that was fairly neutral about COVID-19, about a scientific study, and then I get, crapped on by Facebook for posting a mainstream news story. So really crazy. And you have to make sure that you're not just taking what you're seeing as gospel. I and many other people, a lot of people probably looked at that story and started feeling really apprehensive, like something worse is coming down the pipe. We can't think like that. It's already bad enough that we're in masks and gloves and we're overusing sanitizer. My hands burn. My knuckles are splitting open because we wash our hands so much. I mean, it's already crazy. You don't want to buy into any more. So I'm just saying, be careful what you're reading. Read things 2 and 3 times. If you're reading something and your mind goes, what was that? Go back and reread it, because remember what they say about gut instinct. It's usually correct. And that's the same thing when you're reading a news story and your brain goes, huh? Say what? Go back, read it again. And that's one last thing. And that brings us to the end of the show. I want to thank everybody for listening again to the podcast. We are on our way to episode 100. So that's going to be cool. Remember to stop by www.jmtalk.net and subscribe to the podcast. New episodes drop every Sunday. And you can also listen there right online and do some other things. We're on every available podcasting network that I can think of. And if you can think of one that I'm not on, let me know and we will get busy on that. Also, we're on Facebook at JM Talk. We're Instagram and Twitter, JM Talk Radio. And you can email the show at joelmichalecradio@gmail.com. So until next time, folks, please be good to one another and be patient, okay? Kindness and patience, and we will get through this. Remember to wear your masks, be safe, and we'll catch you next time. Goodbye.